National Indigenous Peoples Day is coming up on June 21st. How will you be celebrating? Keep watching for 10 easy ways that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day in Canada. Hi there, I'm Mallory from TribalTradeCo.com. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for new videos every single week about smudging, Indigenous culture, and Native teachings. Whether you're an Indigenous person or not, there are plenty of ways to safely and respectfully celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day this year. But first of all, what is National Indigenous Peoples Day? National Indigenous Peoples Day is a day for all Canadians to recognize and celebrate the unique heritage and diverse cultures of First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people. The Canadian government chose June 21st because it's the summer solstice, a day Indigenous people have used to celebrate their culture for generations, because it is the longest day of the year, of course. So if you're an Indigenous person or a non-Indigenous ally, how can you get involved? How can you celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day? Don't worry, it's super easy to join in the celebration, and here at Tribal Trade Co, we know how to celebrate Indigenous culture, and we're happy to teach you how to do the same. In fact, we've helped tens of thousands of people, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous, to connect with Indigenous culture through education, online communities, and videos just like this one. So keep watching to find out 10 new ways that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day. The first way that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to attend an in-person celebration or event. If you live in or near a large city in Canada or near an Indigenous community, there is most likely an in-person event happening somewhere near you. Many communities organize powwows or gatherings on this day, and they often welcome guests. So don't forget, National Indigenous Peoples Day is a day for all Canadians to celebrate Indigenous communities. So find an event near you and join in on the celebration. Now, the second way that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to create your own celebration with your family or with your friends. You don't have to go out in public to celebrate. You can celebrate right from your home with family or friends, or both. You can use this time to learn about Indigenous culture together or practice your own traditions if you're part of an Indigenous community. Gather with loved ones and find ways that you enjoy celebrating this special day. Now, the third way that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to participate in a virtual event or celebration. If you don't feel like leaving your house or being around a lot of other people, you're not alone. And the great news is you can always celebrate virtually. Celebrate Indigenous is a virtual celebration, contest series, and networking event for Indigenous Peoples Day 2022. You can meet new people, celebrate online, and even win amazing prizes. Check out all the information you need and register to participate at celebrateindigenous.com. Now, the fourth way that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to support Indigenous-owned businesses. One of the best ways that you could show your support for Indigenous people and communities is by supporting Indigenous-owned companies. And small family-owned businesses are even better. Find local businesses in your community or Indigenous shops or creators online. There are tons of things to choose from home decor to art and so much more. Your purchases are not only supporting that specific business, but it helps uplift the Indigenous community as a whole. When community members are supported, the entire community is supported. And it really is as simple as shopping at an Indigenous-owned store. Plus, it might even be fun to shop around and find the perfect purchase for you. So that's 4 ways so far to celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day. The fifth way that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to smudge with sage. Yes, I know we talk about this a lot on this YouTube channel, but what better way to connect with Indigenous culture than to participate in the sacred and historic tradition of smudging with sage? You can use your smudging ritual as a way to pray, harness positive energy, or simply just feel more connected to the Indigenous community. Smudging with sage can help you channel positive energy, not only for yourself, but for all Indigenous people, which is essentially what Indigenous Peoples Day is all about. So by participating in this tradition, you're signaling that your thoughts and spirit are with Indigenous people on this very important day. If you're not sure how to smudge with sage, check out this video right here to learn exactly how to do that. Have you celebrated Indigenous Peoples Day in the past? What did you do to celebrate? Let us know in the comments below. Now that has been 5 ways to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, and on to number 6. The 6th way to celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to take an Indigenous quiz. You could celebrate by learning more about your Indigenous connection to Indigenous culture, or if you're well connected or just getting started. Are you a strong ally, or do you have a lot more to learn about supporting Indigenous people? Find out by taking these quizzes. They are linked down in the description below. If you're non-Indigenous, you can find out more about being a good Indigenous ally just by taking this quiz called Am I a Good Indigenous Ally? Or if you're someone of Indigenous heritage, you can learn more about how to connect with Indigenous culture. This quiz is called Am I Connected to My Indigenous Heritage? This will help you learn about yourself and learn where you might have areas to grow, which could help you choose your National Indigenous Peoples Day activities. So check out these 2 brand new quizzes in the description below. Now the 7th way that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to engage with Indigenous content creators. The internet is full of Indigenous creators that you could support first by just getting to know them and then engaging with their content. That can mean liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing their stuff that you like with your friends, or even reaching out to them and sharing with your in-person friends and local community. There's so much to choose from, whether it's TikTokers, YouTubers, podcasters, and so much more. Seeking out Indigenous creators, even if it's outside of your comfort zone or your usual content, supports the Indigenous community in a way that you would not believe. All right, on to number 8. Now, the 8th way that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to donate to Indigenous causes. Find an Indigenous cause that you can connect with and then make a donation, no matter what the size. One option is Every Child Matters, the campaign associated with Orange Shirt Day, or any other cause that helps with truth and reconciliation. If you want to find out more about truth and reconciliation, or if you're not even familiar with it at all, check out this video that explains everything about truth and reconciliation with Indigenous community and the Government of Canada. Now, the 9th way that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to share with others what you know about the holiday. Spread the word. Something as simple as talking with other people that you know about the holiday and sharing what's happening with those in your circle can be a great way to celebrate. You might be surprised at how many people don't know about Indigenous Peoples Day or don't know how to celebrate it. Share what you know so that you can help spread the word and help share the celebrations. Now, the 10th way that you can celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to learn more about Indigenous culture. This one has got to be my favorite way to celebrate. All of these ways to celebrate help teaching you about Indigenous culture. And that's because there's truly nothing more important that you can do than learn. That's why our final recommendation for ways to celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day is to continue that learning journey. By watching this video, you've already gotten started, but you can also watch more of our YouTube videos by joining Tribal Nation and even take our Indigenous Awareness course. If you're looking for an opportunity this fall to learn a ton about Indigenous culture and how to use it to become more resilient, join our enrollment period of Smudge Circle. Not only will you be learning more about Indigenous culture, but you'll be supporting Indigenous creators and business owners as well. Now that you know 10 ways to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, all you have to do is choose the right option for you. Pick something that sounds fun, interesting, or meaningful to you and dive right in. The best way to celebrate is to just get started. If you want to be part of an inclusive community of people who are also looking to engage with Indigenous culture, check out our Facebook group. I'll make sure that I link it in the description below. How are you going to celebrate this year? Let us know in the comments below, and I hope you have an amazing Indigenous Peoples Day this June 21st. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful National Indigenous Peoples Day, and we'll see you next time.